What are we doing here? What are we doing here? What do you mean, what are we doing here? It's the Sons of Montezuma podcast. That's what we're doing here. What's going on, everybody? What's going on? It's your host, Mateo San Diego. As usual, you can follow me at Mateo San Diego on Twitter. This is the Sons of Montezuma podcast. If this is your first time, probably not. But this is where we talk all San Diego State Aztecs football, basketball. You know, we definitely got some big basketball news and some podcasts coming down the way that I know you guys are going to enjoy, but it's football season right now. And hey, this is our live stream. We're back again after a bye week. So if you're watching with us right now, be sure you share this post on Twitter. You're probably watching us, or you're watching us on YouTube. Twitter is at Sons of Monty. Our YouTube is Sons of Montezuma. So for sure, subscribe to the channel and let's get into this. So right now, you can take advantage, guys. Did you guys know 15% off sale at sonsofmontezuma.com? Just use the promo code Monty, Monty, and you could get some Sons of Money chones, some pajamas, hats, t-shirts, this Fuck You t-shirt. So anyways, some dun-dun-duns, yeah. I am joined with my co-hosts, as they do every week. I am joined. He's protecting our borders sometimes, most of the time, all of the time, from sea to shining sea. It's K5 James. What's going on, James?
What's up? What's up?
I got that taco shop drink in my hand, man.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Dude, that's not horchata.
It's Jamaica, bro. It's Jamaica.
Oh, I don't like
Jamaica.
And that voice is the one and only dirtiest of the Dans. He's so dirty, but so clean, man. His takes are so clean. It's Dirtball Dan. What's up, Dan?
What's up, man? Glad to get through that longest introduction of all time. 30-minute countdown.
Gotta plug the YouTube, man, the online shop, all that good stuff, right? Gotta let the people know. But one thing we gotta let people know. Can we get a fight song? Can we get the fight song going? Because the Aztecs won. The Aztecs win again. 23-7. San Diego State beats Nevada. All right, my exclamation, point there might be a little more exciting than the game. I thought it was a great game though, man. It was kind of a conflict of interest though, right? I'm like watching the Padres. What game was that? That was Saturday night, so that was game
5, right? Game 4 or game 5?
That was game 4, man. That was game 4.
Yeah, it was 4.
Guys, are we gonna get into Padre talk a little bit? Do you guys want to say?
I don't look at I don't want to get into it. In fact, the football game helped me start coping with the Padres season, honestly, because that game was the end of the series for me.
Yeah,
when they lost that game. So when the Aztecs football game came on, my whole brain just got switched to a different track, to where the Sunday game for the Padres, I missed the first hour, didn't really care, because the series was already lost in my mind, and I've already been trying to move forward. Stop thinking about it.
That's a good point. That definitely helped me get over it. Just knowing the Aztecs were playing later that night, it's like, okay, I could switch my brain a little bit. James, where were you watching that game, man?
Yeah, it was the same thing with me, man. Like, I was watching the Padre game, and when the Phillies took the lead, what was it, like the 7th inning or whatever? I was like, oh yeah, the series is done. Like, they're done. They're not going to come back. It's over. And the football game, I was like, you know what? The Aztec game starts in like 10 minutes. Like, awesome. Like, that'll help me. Like Dan said, it'll help me cope. It'll give me some copium, as they say. And yeah, that basically like kind of like cleared my brain, like made it okay. Oh well, it was a good season. It was a fun season, but I'm ready for some Aztec football now. So,
well, before we get into Aztec football, like, we can't ignore it though. We have to bring up the Padres because, man, this city was just on fire. And the Padres, it's Major League Baseball. Like, they've been here forever. Aztecs have been here forever as well. I mean, it's synonymous to me. You're from San Diego, you're Padres, you're Aztecs. I know a lot of alumni are from a lot of different places, so that's all good. So, but we thank everybody for listening and checking us out. I see everybody joining in on the chat right now. First off, I want to give thanks to Jorge, our producer of this stream. checking us out, helping us out, putting this thing together. Jorge, you there, man? Can you hear me? If not, it's all good.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hey, man, Jorge is an Aztecs alum. He's a diehard Padre fan as well. Jorge, what was your take on the game, man? What was your take?
Yeah, Game 4 was pretty much the decider to me, but overall, I can't complain. I mean, we really shouldn't have even been there. We were relying on the bottom of the lineup to produce most of our runs, and that's not going to keep going. Like, the bottom of the lineup is considered the worst of the team, and yet they were the ones carrying us through everything.
It's not sustainable.
It's not. Like, we expected a guy that hit 180 to carry us the entire way through. There's no way. But overall, I can't complain. I think we're a year early anyway, so we're hopeful for next year.
You hear that, Marisol? Mo, we're a year early. We're coming for you, Dodgers, next year.
I hear people saying that, but the problem is we're never going to win the division right now. So we're always got to play that wild card game series. So it's a 3-game series, which could go either way. So the fact that we made it as far as we did is it's something you really want to capitalize on this year, because it's a coin flip, those 3-game series postseason. It might not land on heads like it did, this year. So it's something I know we could all say, oh yeah, they shouldn't have been there, whatever. But once you're there, you gotta go for it. And you know what? The Phillies manager, he was managing as if each game was a game 7 of that series.
Yeah.
He wasn't pacing himself throughout 7 games. He was throwing his best pitchers as much as he can, as frequent as he can. And it was a difference in philosophy between, I guess, the two teams, where we were thinking a long series, 7 games. But, Josh Hader pitched 1 time during that series. Like, it just can't happen. You got to use them. I mean, you got to swing for the fence. So it's kind of frustrating. But like I said, I'm ready to move on and start bitching about the Aztecs now.
Dude, we got basketball and football coming, man. So it's gonna be real crazy.
Oh man. Well, let's move on, man, because it's still football season. It's fall. It's October. We're gonna start getting into November. Basketball's coming up soon, but we're in the thick of it. So I see everybody in the chat. We're gonna give our little spiel of the game real quick, and then we're gonna take all your questions, comments, and concerns. So the Aztecs coming off the bye. Everybody was wondering how this game was going to shake out. Jalen Maiden making his 2nd start ever, not of just this season.
What the hell call him? Jaden?
Jaden? No, Jalen. No, Coach Hope. No, get it right. Yeah, give him a little pass.
Sorry to interrupt your flow, bro. Sorry.
It's all good. But they're coming off the bye, 2nd start, a lot of question marks. We wanted to see how the offense was going to perform. We wanted to see, hey, the running game hadn't really been hitting on any cylinders. The defense was letting up some yards, a lot of different spots. We had never really put together a complete game. And, after getting caught up on this Nevada game, right off the bat, Michael Shawcroft delivers the boom, knocks the ball loose. And next thing you know, Patrick Morris is taken to the other way for 6. And after that touchdown, guys, I felt completely
offensively. I don't know. I mean, I like what we're doing. It's like 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Like that play, man, when Jesse Matthews fumbled, that was just such a nice, pretty pass play. And then just to fumble it. And then when Maiden threw that perfect ball to Shavers and he just dropped it, and then that along with the penalties and the lack of running the ball. One thing though, I think maybe we had too high of expectations going into this game offensively, because you could tell they added a lot more because they were slow getting the plays in. Maiden looked extremely confused on his armband, which play to do. Yeah. Whereas Hawaii, they probably had 10 plays max. So they probably stuffed the playbook these last 2 weeks and probably didn't get to work on the simple stuff as much as they, would have liked. And I think we could get better running the ball once we're starting to focus on it for the next week and really practice the plays that we know they're going to be our staple week in, week out.
I think those are excellent points. I said we've been through a lot of emotional damage because it's true. Like this team coming out the gate, this offense was terrible. We were railing on them like every single week. It was completely inept, right? So to see where we are now, all the choppiness, all the mistakes, I can live with it because I understand they're going from, way over here in left field to way over here now to where they're trying to be. It's a quick turnaround and trying to learn everything, get everything dialed in. And then you throw in injuries on top of it, new personnel coaching on top of it. You got a new quarterback on top of it. And it's just like this. It's like you're in spring. It's like you're in fall camp all over again. It's not an excuse, but it's an understanding,
I mean, to a certain extent, there's a lot like the offensive line struggles with the false starts and shit like that.
Yeah.
It's pretty frustrating, man. And the penalties in general. We're halfway through the season now. You'd hope that would get cleaned up and it's been an all season issue. Defensively, I think the secondary looks confused a lot. A lot of mistakes out there. If we played a good passing team, we would have been torched on the back end.
Yeah.
They had a lot of wide open receivers that they just blew it, So I'm worried about the Fresno game, man. Like, for sure.
That touchdown for sure was a broken coverage. It was a busted coverage.
Yeah.
Somebody fucked up on their coverage. Like, we don't know what the coverage call was, but it was totally a busted coverage. And otherwise they wouldn't have scored at all, which they shouldn't have, because we can talk about the quality of this conference right now, but which is scary that we really have a legit chance to win this conference still. And like this game Saturday is like a big deal.
That was their first passing touchdown in like 5 games or some shit. I mean, dude.
So let's look at the stats here. So they started off with Nate Cox. He's like 6'9", the tallest. They were pumping that stat up all day. Like that's all you could talk about when it comes to Nevada was he's 6'9", right? The biggest quarterback in history. But they brought in Ellingworth, and he threw for 20 of 32, 165 yards. That touchdown pass, if you watch, it was a busted up play because they threw a flag. We were offsides, but their receiver totally ran like a false start. He started early. So I think it was just a busted up play. Like everybody thought they were going to blow a whistle the play dead. He ends up running, getting behind the secondary. You still shouldn't let that happen. But to me, it was so fluky. It was just such a mismanaged play as far as penalties go. I almost get that out of my mind. But I understand. He threw for a lot of completions. Guys were open throughout the secondary all night in certain areas.
Yeah, I'm not even really concerned about that one. It's more about the completions he didn't make. Where that guy was wide open. We are so lucky.
We're so lucky he didn't catch that.
Yeah.
But no, bad quarterback play. If you go against a Hainer, I see somebody saying that in the chat right now. You go against a Hainer.
Is he going to be playing Saturday?
I don't think so.
Yeah,
but
I think he's out for the season, right?
Well, he might be back. But we'll get into that.
He's pretty good, that Fife kid.
Yeah,
I think he's a good quarterback.
Yeah. So if you see on the ticker, Jalen Maiden went 12 for 25, 156 yards, which was still pretty solid. I mean, there were some misses, but he had the big touchdown run, which we'll get into. Chance Bell ran 12 times for 55 yards. Bird had 10 carries for 30 yards. That was kind of interesting to me. Bird pretty much started the game getting a lot of carries, and it was out of if I'm not mistaken, I mean, Jalen was coming out of the huddle, which again, we got huddles. And he wasn't doing the shotgun thing, right? He was taking a direct snap and handing it off. It was like they were trying to give Bird some inside runs, like as if he was Pumphrey or something. You know what I mean? I'm like, wait a minute. Like it was interesting to see, but they quickly got away from that.
Dude, there was one play though where he moved like a pile, and I was like, what the hell? Nevada is terrible.
Well, same thing with Chance, dude. Chance had this one run. He was like carried a whole load of people with him. So it's good to see him getting healthy again.
Chance
You
is
see
a
that?
beast, though, man. We've been excited to see him healthy, and he's kind of rounding into form, I think. So
Can we get a chance to catch the ball on a flat, dude? I mean, that's a 30, 40-yard gain right there.
Yeah.
And it was a perfect pass. Like, we can't have those anymore, man. We just can't. We're not good enough to not make those plays.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the offense a little bit, though. Let's get a little more specific in the offense, right? So Maiden, he didn't have the big numbers. James says we should dedicate ourselves to throwing the ball a little more, right? But I think you kind of came back, Dan, with, hey, they're learning a lot. You saw the offensive plays kind of getting in there really slow. It's a little bit of a frustration there, the penalties, all that good stuff. But the things I did like that I saw was that he was able to, once again, sit in the pocket, hung out in the pocket. Like, the quarterback skills are there. Some of the fundamentals need to be brushed up a little bit. I heard Coach say that this morning, but the pocket awareness is there. The manipulation of the pocket is great. He got the ball to his tight end, and we were talking about that. Like, early in the game, he got the ball to Redmond a few times, which was really cool to see. Didn't really see it in the second half much, but I'm sure there's an explanation for that. But he sprayed the ball around again, pretty effectively. Guys were having some nice little patterns and different things. He took a deep shot once. I think it went incomplete to either Jesse Matthews or it may have. Yeah, it might have been Shaw.
And you know what? Look, I think Shaw misplayed that ball in the air, by the way. Like, he didn't. It wasn't the perfect throw by any means, but I think maybe like a Shavers or Matthews is really good. High, catching the ball at the highest point, maybe has a better play on that ball.
Yeah, agreed. So there were some bright spots, you know what I mean? I see the passing game starting to kind of take a little more shape, even though he didn't put up the 300 yards or whatever, against Hawaii. But, we talked about Nevada's secondary. They were going to be a little stingy. They had a really nice player, Sanders. Like, he did some things, right? But I just think with time, it's just going to take some time. But I don't know if they have the time, we're in the middle of the season. So it's like, but when it comes to dedicating to the pass, let's talk about the offensive line, guys, because the run is the part that we're known for, but they're struggling right now. Now, I don't know if you guys noticed, Ross Musuli did play in the game, but he didn't come in until later in the game, I believe in the second half. Now, I'm one that's a big fan of Ross Musuli. I know a lot of people are. He's really good. He's a redshirt freshman, though, guys. Same with Simmons. They're redshirt freshmen. Like, SG Sports Fiend made a good point the other day to me. We included it in our article. If you guys go to sonsofmontezuma.com, check out an article. This offensive line coming into this year was the 6th youngest offensive line in the nation. I didn't realize that. Now, youngest in terms of starts, so not necessarily age or anything like that, but experience. It's all about experience, guys. So the number 6th youngest, that's asking a lot. And if you look at those other teams that are younger than them or around them, I mean, we're talking about like teams that are also offensively very challenged this year. Like, they're just not any good. So to ask that young of an offensive line, like, you're really banking on your coaching, being able to coach them up. Like, you're taking a gamble on yourself as a coach, saying, we're going to be able to coach these guys up to our scheme. Never mind how young they are. They're going to be, hitting on cylinders. And that just hasn't been the case this year, whether it's through injury or all these penalties. I mean, what do you guys think about that coming into the year, that young and inexperienced?
Yeah. You know me, I'm a big offensive line guy. I coached it. I played it. I played it when we were younger and Pop Warner kind of thing, so when I was big enough to be an offensive lineman. But I coach it as well. And so I love watching offensive line play. And our offensive line, you can tell they're going to be good. They have a lot of raw talent.
Yeah.
But it's just, it's growing pains, man. We're just going to deal with it. They're going to have games where they look like a badass offensive line. And then the very next game, they look like they can't block anybody. So we just got to kind of roll with it this year. It's going to be like growing pains. It's not a linear progression. Like, there's peaks and valleys. So this week might have been one of the valleys. Hopefully next week against Fresno will be the peak. So we'll see how it goes.
Hey James, when are we gonna get to the game where they look like a badass offensive line?
Like I said, hopefully
was,
press them.
Look, I mean, even some of our most experienced offensive linemen have made a lot of mistakes. Not necessarily just the freshmen that are on there. We're not going to point anyone out, but just in general, like it's been the whole line, not the youngsters,
not just the young guys. Yeah.
And I mean, there's been sometimes, I know you're saying they're better in the past, but I don't think they're that much better in the past, you know, like where they look better because Maiden's an athlete.
Yeah.
But
I'd rather, to be fair, I'd rather put the game in Maiden's hands, what I'm saying. Like, let Maiden be the guy. Let him decide these games because he's such a great athlete and he's so smart with the ball. He doesn't put the ball in stupid places usually. So in that regard, like, yes, throw the ball, put the game in Maiden's hand. That's kind of where I was going. I wasn't necessarily saying they're a great pass blocking offensive line, but they're better at pass blocking than they are at run blocking right now.
I can agree with that. You know, how do you explain it? I think Horton came in and he's trying to get the passing game competent, right? So I think there's a lot of focus there. So it's a quick passing game as well.
Some miracles already.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Before
he had to work with.
Before him and Lindley took over, like 3rd and 5 or more, I was like, we're punting.
Yeah.
At least now we have a chance. Like, oh shit, okay, they can pick up this 3rd down. We'll see. At least there's a possibility they're gonna pick it up now.
And I know, Matt, I think you had mentioned like the lack of big plays on offense or something like that. But we're getting a lot of chunky plays, I'll tell you that much. Like we're not getting the 60-yard touchdowns, but some of those used to come with us on the run anyways. So that we used to get a lot of our big plays from the run, but we're getting some chunk plays now, which it's 15, 20-yard completions, which is pretty awesome. Like
a lot chunkier than what we're used to.
Yeah, for sure.
It's actually fun to watch our offense now. Wow. Fuck, our offense is on the field. This is gonna be terrible.
I know. I wanted them to keep getting on the field. I wanted to see. Honestly, Maiden's really an exciting player.
Oh yeah.
Even if he's not the most accurate, or even he's not the perfect quarterback, he's exciting to watch and he's fun.
That touchdown was ridiculous, dude. That was a ridiculous play. That's a freaky athlete play. The way he juked that guy, left him in his broken ankles, and got around and still scored a touchdown after. That was insane, man. It was insanity.
Let's talk a little bit about that. Because that was pretty much the game that put the nail in the coffin, right? I mean, it was a 7-0 game, a 10-0 game, a 13-0 game. I don't remember exactly what the score was when he scored that crazy touchdown. We'll see the highlights you guys can watch now.
I think
it was 13-7.
Yeah,
that sounds about right. And I believe it was a 3rd down or something like that. Yeah. So we were moving the ball. We were in the territory, 30 yards out. And just to see him go down his progressions, I know the announcers, you guys were bagging on the.
I'm not even talking about from a conservative standpoint. I thought, they get 4. I think if they would have been a little bit closer to the 1st down, it's 4 down, they would have went for it. But they just didn't. We've seen those 3rd down runs all year where you're like scratching your head. That one I didn't. It felt within the flow. It felt, maybe try to get them, surprise them a little bit, but it didn't seem like an asinine call like we had seen earlier. I kind of.
It was like a touch conservative, but it wasn't like, what the fuck are you doing? Kind of thing. Like 3rd and 9 when you're down by 20 points. Like, why are you running the ball on 3rd and 9 when you're down by 20?
Yeah, the game situation has a lot to do with it. Yeah.
So it's a fair criticism, but he's always going to err conservative because that's his nature. He's a defensive guy. Like that's what defensive guys do. But I don't think he's like Rocky Long where he's going to like shut down the offense. I think he's just like, hey, like let's be a little conservative. But he's more than willing. He showed his flexibility when he was at Michigan. They ran the read option with Denard Robinson, and they went to a Sugar Bowl. So. It's not like he's some like guy he's real rigid in his offensive style or offensive preferences. So yeah, I don't think that's a big issue.
And the number one thing he wants is balance. He said that time after time, Coach Hoke. He wants that balance. So Okay.
God,
where do
hey,
we
real
go
quick
from-
though.
Yeah.
I'm loving this pro style formation. So, God, I'm loving it. I hope they stick with it. I hope we see more of it. They still did a little bit of the Heklinski formations. Dude, go pro style, go under center like you were talking about, Matt.
Another thing, I was listening to Coach Hoke this morning. He was on 760. So if anybody missed it this morning, every Monday morning, Coach Hoke is on 760 with, I believe it's Richie Orenberger, right, who does the play-by-play for the Aztecs. Every Monday morning, Coach Hoke talks with him. And this morning, he made a good observation that he himself, he's a fan and enjoys having the offense get back in the huddle before the plays. He was like, I didn't think about it before, but I really think it gives guys like Alama, the experienced guys on the line, and even the quarterback, right? But it gives them a chance to just, okay, rub off some of that experience, rub off some of that expertise that you have under your belt. When you're not in that huddle and you're like what you're saying, James, you're out there standing in your position, looking at the sidelines, like you're not able to connect with each other and kind of like, okay, remember the count is on 3, or, this is the play. And this is, remember, just kind of right before the play, get that ingrained in your mind, So that stood out to me, man. Coach Hoke even sees it like, okay, we needed to change some things. And these are the proper steps that we're taking now with this offense.
That's actually a pretty cool point. I never thought of it.
I've never been a big fan of those check with me offenses where everybody turns and looks to the sidelines. It's been like a bugaboo for me, but it's fairly common in college football. I would definitely prefer the huddle, and I'm so glad to see we're back to the huddling up to kind of, like you said, I don't know necessarily if it allows guys like Ulave, sorry, to spread their knowledge, but at least it like calms everybody down. Like, hey, take a second, take a breath. Like, what's the play? Remember what the count is. Let's do it.
We should have James read all of the hard names on the Aztec team right now while he's drunk.
While I'm drunk, yeah.
All in favor of that? All right. Jorge, go ahead and play.
Piasso. I can still do Piasso better than those guys on those terrible announcers. What do they say? Fisao or something like that? They screwed his name up so bad.
Jorge, go ahead and play that first clip from Coach Brady. I want us to hear this. Not that one. Not that one. TikTok. All good. Here we go.
What's up with your production here, man?
We just gave him a bunch of love and he screwed it all up.
Dude, this is when we can't call him Baba Booey. Like,
Baba Booey.
Can they really though?
Penalties, false starts.
Something weird just happened. I came up all mute, said that the host.
I'm not real sure,
same
we got to play a lot better and can't hurt ourselves.
All right, I got time to get a beer real quick.
It seems like you were getting to the quarterback a lot of times today. A lot of tackle for loss, a lot of sacks. What does that mean, being a defensive line coach?
Oh, it's always gratifying, but I think our backers and, Cooper and Caden, I think when we bring those two guys, I know Vi did a nice job. We brought him on a couple things, but, we needed to cause some more negative plays, and I think that helped us, obviously, and I think it helped our offense.
Jalen made his second start. What did you see from him tonight?
Well, he's a gutsy guy, number one. He's really, really in the pocket. I think he absolutely
All right, James had to go get another refreshment. James had to go get another refreshment, so we
I should have cracked it.
All right, so let's take some comments, some questions, some concerns. Mo Mama and everybody's conning on James because he's drunk. So let's talk about Burmeister, right? Everybody was wondering how Braxton was going to do in his package. And I thought he did good, man. I was kind of skeptical, to be honest with you guys. I really wasn't expecting to see much. But after that first play, I mean, you got to give Maiden a lot of credit. He stood in the pocket, waited to the last possible moment to throw it, and he threw it in stride. It was a dime straight to Braxton, and Braxton did a good job.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's an insane athlete. So you get him out there, let him use his athletic skills, and he showed it. It was awesome.
Dude, there's precedent for this working, you know. It's happened in the NFL where these quarterbacks in college go and they play in the NFL. This isn't, I mean, obviously he's a great athlete. He has the speed. That route could be cleaned up a little bit, as you know, but he didn't even need to have the perfect route to create separation that shows you. And obviously Maiden had a lot of confidence in him, to where he felt comfortable hanging in the pocket and delivering it. But this isn't that abnormal, where an athletic quarterback switches to wide receiver.
I mean, we've had it here at San Diego State with Muji. I mean, you don't have to go back very far to see it here. So yeah, exactly, man. I think it's a good move, and you know, football players want to play, so I'm sure.
And if Braxton's going to play at the next level, it's going to be at wide receiver. You know, like if he's going to play at the next level, it's going to take a team noticing his athleticism, saying, "Dude, we got to put this guy at wide receiver."
Like an Edelman kind of thing.
Yeah.
Rick Torado, did Burmeister get only one target? Yeah, he only got that one target, I believe. They only had him in like a package, so it's probably just a one formation or so. Get him in there, see what he can do. Don't risk injury by putting him out there for more than that. You know, just get him in a couple plays, and you know it worked out. You know, for that one play, it was a good. I'm glad that Maiden had the confidence to get it to him. You know, I think his teammates respected him for that. You know, it's like, hey, you can give him a chance.
I like him in the slot, man.
Yeah,
like, you can really stretch the field.
Yeah, I think that role. I think that role will be expanded as more time goes on, as they get more practice time in. I think he'll kind of get like an expanded role in the passing offense.
Dude, and he caught that ball so easily. You know, it looked so natural.
Yep.
El Patricio says Armani Rogers, former UNLV quarterback. He's playing tight end in the NFL right now.
Yeah, there you go. Right there.
Yeah.
I know
Good
that.
call. Good pull. I didn't even know that.
Not at all. Okay. All right. Any final thoughts? Anybody got final thoughts on Nevada? I mean, the game was never in doubt. The game was never in doubt.
I mean, we were up 13-7 at one point. That's not necessarily blowing the doors off of them.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, it's not like we blew them out, but like I never really, like I said, I felt a little worried when they scored that touchdown, but other than that, like I never really felt threatened. I'm just ready for this Fresno game, man. I hate Fresno, so they better beat these guys.
So talking about Fresno, it's rivalry week. We all hate the Bulldogs. We hate them. Hate them. I got hate in my heart. I gotta let it out this weekend.
FTP.
So if you're looking at the games remaining on the schedule, man,
like this
Nevada,
is it.
we just beat. It's there for the taking, guys. It's all there in front of us. Fresno. Then we got homecoming against UNLV. Then we got San Jose State at home. The last two games of the year on the road at New Mexico, and then back home against Air Force. That last game of the year, it may decide everything again for the second straight year. Man, that's not going to be easy against Air Force. But three division rivals coming up: Fresno, UNLV, and San Jose State. If you would have asked me 3 weeks ago, I would have said, man, I mean, we're losing every single one of those. But things have kind of changed, right? Fresno doesn't have Hainer anymore. At least I don't think he's going to be there. San Jose State lost to Fresno already. So, you know, they're kind of wobbly. And UNLV, man, they kind of started off with the explosive offense. But since then, they've really, you know, they got blown up, I think, by San Jose, right? So it was something really weird. But what do you guys think, man? It's a tough 3-game stretch regardless, though.
This
Fresno
Saturday,
State's up first.
Go ahead, Dan. You got something?
Well, this Fresno game, I'm kind of really worried about. I'm worried about the penalties. I'm worried about the pre-snap stuff. I think it's not going to be crazy electricity in that stadium, but it's going to be probably a good crowd.
Yeah.
The mistakes, we can't have the penalties. They're not even physical mistakes. They're all mental mistakes. I'm concerned. I don't think we're going to be able to run the ball. And I think Fresno State will probably put a lot more pressure on Maiden than what he's seen. It's going to be, dude, if they win that game, that's something for them to really be proud about. This is not going to be an easy game, and it's something that they can really hang their hat on for the rest of the year if they're able to pull that game out.
Yeah, this is going to be a pretty hostile environment. Like, it's not going to be crazy like Utah, but it's going to be fairly hostile. And that's a terrible road trip. As a fan, it's a terrible road trip. So I can't imagine as a player, it's probably really bad too. So yeah, dude, like they can't afford those stupid penalties, because it's going to be like this Nevada game, but like with a even sharper, like razor's edge of difficulty. Like they can't screw up. Like they have to play a perfect game to win this game Saturday. And I'm hoping they do, because goddamn it, I hate Fresno.
You can get by offensively speaking against Nevada, against Hawaii, playing the way that we've played. And that's why it kind of worked out to our favor to have these two games that we've just won as those, beginning steps, as the intermediate steps to now you're going to play the big boys. Now you're playing Fresno State, who pretty much whooped us last year. You cannot play that same way against the Bulldogs. Not on the road at Fresno, not even at home against Fresno. Like, as much as we hate them, I respect the heck out of them, man. I mean, they've got a solid program. They know who they are. Their identity's there. Sweeney's back, so it's like, or what's his name?
Tedford.
Tedford.
Yeah.
Tedford.
Sweeney. Sweeney's been gone, bro. That's old school.
I'm thinking old school.
Dude, we're gonna need like the seniors to really play well, the older kids. And you know what? I actually got to give a shout out, because I've been kind of down on him, but Keyshawn Banks had a good game this last week.
Oh
yeah.
So it's good to see him he looked explosive out there for a good part of that game. So we need players like him, all the seniors on the offensive line, or all the oldest players on the offensive line. We just need some big plays by our vets. No stupid penalties. Like, play really sharp, man.
Yeah.
That was one of the talking points I wanted to get into, because yes, we were all excited about the offense. We want the offense to take leaps and bounds, but against Fresno, we're going to really need the defense to continue to put up the kind of performances that they have the last few weeks. To step up though, right? I mean, even with no Hainer, whether or not he plays, it doesn't make a difference. Like, their running back is pretty devastating, as we found out last year. Cropper is pretty outstanding wide receiver, as we've mentioned already. So this defense, we're gonna need that big game from Keyshawn. That's our guy, right? I mean, Laka had like 6 or 7 tackles this past week as well. We're gonna need these guys to step up. We're gonna need turnovers. It was cool to hear that the defense has been setting goals for themselves, numbers for at least 10 sacks or TFLs, right? And I believe they were this close to meeting that goal. Turnovers, I think they wanted to talk about getting 2 turnovers a game. So you got to keep that momentum going, got to keep that ball rolling. I'm hoping that Coach Maddox has something, he learned from last year, because we didn't play them the year before in the COVID year. So really that was Coach Maddox's first opportunity to scheme against that Fresno State team. Now, granted, it's a new offensive coach in there, but I don't think he's going to be overwhelmed, but all the guys going to be able to step up.
Dude, the key to this game is what you just said, is me stopping the run. Mims had like 180 yards last week, or 190 yards. And I'm not that comfortable about how well we play against the run.
Yeah, we've kind of talked about it all year, how the defensive line, gives up yardages in chunks to running backs, and like we need them to stiffen up for this game for sure, because otherwise Mims is going to run wild, just like Boise State ran wild against us. So it's about time they got to flex up. Like, there's no excuse now. The offense is performing well enough to get them off the field and give them a break. Like, the defense is to really step up, and we say that when they have really good numbers overall. But if you watch the games with your eyes, you can see like they get pushed around sometimes on
for sure.
Yeah, so hopefully, like these guys, like Banks and the Tavai brothers and then the McDonald's, like they gotta like this is their game. They gotta step up and take care of business.
Now, a quick plug because this week I am gonna sit down with our rival Beware of Bulldogs podcast. These guys are similar to us, like three dudes that talk Fresno State football. So I'm going to be sitting down with them this week and get all the ins and outs on what's going on with this team. We'll find out. Is Hainer going to play? We'll find out just how good, this backup, if he does play, we're going to find out directly from them. So you guys make sure to check back on sonsofmontezuma.com for that. And, Fresno's 8.5-point favorites, guys. I mean, they're playing at home, so that's worth a couple points within itself, but it's gonna be tough. I'm glad I'm not going
down. I'm taking those points because we're gonna win.
I mean, we honestly though, we haven't played well against some pretty poor programs the last couple of weeks. So this is a big step up, and hey, let's see what happens. The thing about it is the game last week against Nevada, it was just tons of little mistakes, just little things, man. Like if they could just clean that up and just eliminate it.
Should have been like a 40-0 game.
Yeah.
If they wouldn't have made all those little tiny mistakes like you're talking about.
Now, here's the frustrating part for me with Fresno State. Last week, El Patricio says, yes, Fresno did lose to UConn, but that was a couple weeks ago already now. That was a couple weeks. We were clowning on them. We're not saying when we were in Vegas. We were clowning on them for losing that game. But here's the thing. Last week they played against New Mexico, and I get it. New Mexico's not good, but they played the same 3-3-5 stack that we do, probably a little variation to it. Cropper, 9 catches for 158 yards last week. Mims, like you said, 165 yards on the ground last week. And their backup even had 55 yards. I mean, they just had their way with New Mexico. So I only bring that up because they run the same defensive scheme that we do. So there's going to be some things that they're already going to be dialed in on and prepared for. So it's going to be a challenge, man. It's going to be a real challenge. SD Sports Fiend, our basketball co-host, says, I would use bracket coverage on Cropper. They don't have a great number 2 receiver.
Okay. That's a good point. That's a fair point. I don't disagree with that.
They don't really do a lot of that, though. If anything, they leave the corners out to dry a lot.
Yeah, they leave the corners hanging. They're like, hey, be a man or not. That's why a lot of corners like coming to play at San Diego State, because they know they get to do their thing. So
now I don't know much about this Logan Fife. I don't know much about him, but I mean, he put up some pretty good yardage. He's not a big kid, 6 foot 200 pounds. Okay, he's pretty, for a quarterback. I mean, we'll see though. We'll see. We'll get the skinny.
Like my biggest issue with our defense is it doesn't seem like they generate much pressure, whether they blitz or not. And that's
you missed the second half though.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So if you watch the second half, Tavai was just like a monster. Keyshawn was. Yeah, but no, they don't really.
Up to this point, other than the second half that I didn't see, they don't generate pressure like they usually do. Because usually, last year and the year, like in prior years, like they could get pressure with 3 guys or sometimes 4 guys, and they could generate a pass rush on their own without having to blitz. And that's a big thing because that allows you to have more guys in the coverage, and it's awesome. So hopefully, maybe that was a turning point. The second half against Nevada, and we can see that as we go forward, especially against Fresno. Again, fuck Fresno.
Matt, here's the $1 million question. Matt, the $1 million question, dude. Are you doing a watch party for this game or what?
Well, considering considering this Fresno game is on a Saturday night, Halloween weekend.
I'm not doing a dress up thing.
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough because everybody's got their things going on. Bars have got their things going on. So we've yet to have a watch party. We've had many tailgates.
Yeah,
but we've yet to have a watch party. I'm just recovering from my knee surgery. So hopefully we'll be back up and running at the tailgate for homecoming.
Oh, yeah.
Fresno game, that might be a little tough. That might be a little tough.
I say no because I got stuff going on here. So
Dan's shaking his head. I don't know, dude. Are we gonna have to put together? Are we gonna have to put together a last
Dan
second
is upset. Dan is
Fresno
upset.
State Aztecs watch party? Everybody
Maybe-
dressing up. All the Sons of Montezuma dressing up. Is that what's going on?
Maybe we could just have a few people come over to my house. We'll put it on outside.
It's the Dan special.
It's a VIP entrance only. $50 a head. Dan Dirtball Dan's charging. Okay, we got questions. If somebody wants to know what makes Dan so dirty, why dirty?
Look at him. He looks like a dirtball.
Yeah, I grew up in a trailer park in El Cajon, dude. I was for sure a dirtball. I was a little dirtball.
You heard it here first, the origin story of Dirtball Dan. We're gonna have to do a podcast dedicated just to that.
Just a dirtball Dan.
Origins, yes. Sarah Eisen, watch party for November 19th, New Mexico game. That
Oh yeah,
awesome.
I'm down with that.
A little Thanksgiving. Give thanks to all you Sons of Montezuma for all your
Free
retweets and
Thanksgiving.
follows. Free beer. Okay, Paralysis is a beast on Fresno's D line. Yeah,
Okay,
you guys heard of this kid?
Yeah.
Yeah, Turbin was talking about him a little bit during that.
Your favorite announcer?
Yeah.
That guy was so bad, man. Oh my God. I don't know how you guys. Luckily, I didn't have to hear him the whole second half, so it wasn't that bad. I was watching it, but holy shit, that first half, listening to that guy. And you guys gotta go on this. Like that's how he announced. Like he was yelling into the microphone the whole time.
All right, guys. Any lasting thoughts on Fresno State before we get into the rest of our week? Because it's very different than last year. Last year was so much more hype. Both teams were amazing coming into that game. This year is a very different year, man. Everybody's coming in limping, just coming in, struggling. But it's probably going to be for the division. I mean, we still got San Jose State.
I think whoever wins
to play, but
whoever wins this game is going to win the division, in my opinion. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I would like another shot at Boise. That'd be awesome.
Oh man, well, you never know. If we make it to the championship game, that's what it's going to be against for sure. Because Utah State sucks.
No, there's the rest of
they're horrible.
Like I said, when we talked a couple weeks ago, like as bad as our team has been, like as bad as the offenses look, we still have a chance to win the championship, and that's crazy.
And that's the beauty of being in the Mountain West Conference, guys, is that even on our down year, we could still win the whole thing. Utah State can't say that. They can't say that. Colorado State can't say that. San Jose State can't say that. Nobody else can say that. And that's why we're front runners to hopefully go to the Pac-12 or Big 12. Any news on expansion, guys? Anything coming down? What's the landscape look like, guys?
I mean, there's
plugged in.
Dude, honestly, I think from what I've heard, I think San Diego State will go to the Pac-12.
It's a lock. You think it's a lock?
I'm pretty confident. I'm like at 85, 90%.
Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
I've heard it's pretty much a fait accompli that San Diego State's going to be in the Pac-12. It's just finding a 12th team is the issue.
I don't know I don't think they'll even have to go to 12 if they want, but from a reliable source said they are gonna, no matter what, they're taking one team.
Damn. That source
is that from Jason Shear? Is that your source?
No. Shear doesn't want to hear that, dude.
FTP again.
Canzano, is that Canzano?
No, Dan's got he's got some big donor homeboys, so Dan's got connections. He may be a dirtball, but he's got connections.
All right. I'm feeling good, guys. I've enjoyed this conversation with you guys. It's been a while. Feels like it's been a while. I think James is ready to go keep the ball rolling. He's got music bumping in the background. I think everybody's watching Monday Night Football still.
My guest turned the music up. I'm sorry about that, dude.
I was grooving. But we thank everybody for joining. sonsofmontezuma.com. If you don't see it above my head, make sure you go support and pick up some of our clothing that right now, like I said, you can get 15% off in the online store. Just use the code word Monty, MONTY. That is my gift to you right now for Halloween. What should I be for Halloween, guys? I'm thinking of mummies and just wrap bandages all over myself.
Wrap your leg up.
Yeah. All right. On that note, we're going to exit with our NIL commercials so you can check out the merchandise that you can potentially pick up in support of our student athletes. And hey, on behalf of the guys, everybody, Fresno State this Saturday, keep an eye out for our podcast with the Beware of Bulldogs brothers there up in the valley. sonsofmontezuma.com. Send us any more questions, comments, and concerns on Twitter at Sons of Monty. And until next time, go Aztecs.
Go Aztecs.
Peace.
This is how legends are made. Above it all, untouchable. A new animal. Smiling at me. It's alright. Here comes the ready or not. Here comes the boys for the sound. Here comes the ready or not. How you like me now? I say we rep the South. So what you talking about? Raise Hawaii on, I am the diamond in the rough. From the land of Zion, I am the diamond in the rough. Born and raised Hawaii on, I am the diamond in the rough. From the land of Zion, I am the diamond in the rough.
7 for the Aggies. He steps up, he's in trouble, and he's sacked. Keyshawn Banks, the 3-time All-Conference player. Oh, Daniels goes down. And San Diego State takes over. Another blitz. Wow. Creel's flushed and caught and dropped. Keyshawn Banks